D Miami Sports Music, salute.
Already know.
Bless up.
Finger licking.
We got finger licking live.
Already know, man.
It's some canes over here. Turn over chain, 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 turn over chain. You seen big homie get a fumble, he get a turnover chain. Seen big homie get the pick off, he get a turnover chain, 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 turnover chain. You see the whole crowd going user, we want the turnover chain. See the whole crowd going crazy, we want that turnover chain, turnover chain. Turnover chain is deeper than jewelry, deeper than blink. It's deeper. See, this is our thing, and you as the team is strictly for Kane. Invented the swag, you rented and brag, but we want it back. Let me get that. But you can keep the old one, cause we keep something new in the bag. All of these players is hungry, don't come in here thinking it's funny. We aiming for something, rocking the chains when it's sunny. Even when raining or slumming, we ain't gonna be slumming. Hope your quarterback don't think it's sweet. The defense will make them take a seat. And if somebody strip the ball out, then somebody get a Cuban link. Now you know how I go with the fans though. We be going wild all in the stands though. If you're not with the team, you're not familiar. If you throwing U's up, you like familiar. Come on, get loose like a band, trombone. Throw 3 or 5 up, my home. CWA, tell them about it. All the canes gone wild when we yelling this out. Turn over chain, 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 turn over chain. You seen big homie get the fumble, he get a turnover chain. Seen big homie get the pick off, he get a turnover chain, 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 turnover chain. You see the whole crowd going user, we want the turnover chain. See the whole crowd going crazy, we want that turnover chain. Who that?
So low, so low, so low, D. So low, so low, so low, D.
It's some canes over here. It's some canes over here.
Welcome to Coach Hayes Football Live. He can talk about anything from high school to the pros. This guy knows the game, so you better not be half-stepping.
I can guarantee you most of the audience is going to agree with me before they agree with you.
Strap in, because Coach Hayes is about to
Crack your cranium and fertilize your brain. Go ahead and right here, right now.
subscribe now and check out CoachHayesFootball.com.
Canes, Canes. That's what I'm talking about. My Miami Hurricanes are taking on Pittsburgh Panthers today. And guess what? Somebody got to get some payback. I got in the Cane Mobile, banged down the turnpike, went to the Heck Center, knocked on the door. Hey, yo, Manny, we ain't here to play with them. You understand that? Somebody got to pay. And it started with these boys today. So with that being said, we're going to jump into this thing, man. We got an hour, a little bit less than an hour before kickoff. So for all my Cane fans out there, we're going to make it happen. Comment section, everything jumping. 247 Canes, what's up? That boy been out there in the section early, man. So he ready to go. We got very special guests today. We also, as you know, we have our usual suspects. Coach Balin Trujillo will be coming on shortly. You know, he's the quarterback guru, so he has some training to do. He'll definitely jump on. And we got a very special one, and Mr. Rod Mack, who played linebacker for my beloved Canes. And he's going to talk to us today about the state of the program and give his outlook on the game today. But before we get started, real quick, I got a real quick announcement. For those who know that I do WREs, which is the Watch, React, Evaluate every day, drop the top talent in the nation and react to those guys. I've been off for a little bit simply because I've been working on other things. So I know you kind of missed me. I've been seeing in the comment section. We'll be back definitely on Monday. But this is what we've actually done. We've actually dropped CoachHayesFootball.com. So you can check that out right now. Go to CoachHayesFootball.com. You're going to see everything. It's the #1 site for players, coaches, and fans. So you definitely check us out on there. Also, you can grab your merch. You can get all the stuff you want. So we got it. Let me see here. Pull it up right here. So go ahead, grab your merch. We got the Canes in there. We got all type of stuff, not just this. I'm giving right now to 12 midnight for the rest of the day, 10% off. So go to Coach Hayes Football. Promo code is Canes10. All right, that's 10% off on everything in the store, including these rivalry series. That's my Canes against Florida State Sucks t-shirts. We got the Gators Suck too and everything else. So you can definitely check those out. All right, that is on CoachHayesFootball.com. Go into the fan section and you can check it out, man. Poor little Timmy ain't got a chance, and we'll definitely explain that a little bit more. So here we are. Let me bring these guys in. All right. First, we bring it in Mr. Actor Man, Essex O'Brien, Mr. Actor Extraordinaire. Talk to me, man. What's going on with you?
Hey, man, it's good to be back, Coach. Missed y'all boys last week, but hey, we back in it. Today is another day, another week of Canes, the story of the Canes. We got to dust a little, get a little dust off our shoulders. We took a little L last week. Hey, but that's why you play the week after and you grow and you get better, man. Happy to be here, and we got a great show, dog. Let's roll.
Definitely, man. Well, I'm glad you're back, man. I know last week you was on set with my girlfriend Holly Berry, man, and I know you missed the post game.
She told me to tell you hi.
Yeah, she ain't called me since a week, dog. That scene must have been excellent, bro.
Yeah,
hey, little birdie told me you kept messing the love scene up on purpose, dog. So I hate that fat man. All right, but anyway, man, let me go ahead and bring in my next guest, man. Part 2 of the usual suspects. All right, and Mr. V12, talk to us. V12, what's up, baby?
Hey, old school players to new school fools. Miami keep you jumping like kangaroos. Hey, shout out Outcast. You see me in the old school baseball. That's how you know I'm Miami, baby, all day. I went baseball on y'all. But we here. I miss you, E. O'Brien. I know how you get down. Glad to be back. Let's talk about it. Hey, we need this to bounce back. This to bounce back week. We get more into it, Coach. But hey, I'm gonna get my merch too. I need my 10%. I'm gonna get my merch. Rocking the road. I love them shirts, man. I'm gonna grab mine next time. Holla at me, Coach. We in here.
Already. All right. And also, man, we got him. He on the road right now. He definitely gonna get in, man. Mr. Balin Trujillo, talk to us. Balin, what's going on, man? That boy look like he's stuck right now. So we're going to leave him out right quick. But hey, I know he's driving. He had a thing to do, man. It's a little early. Yeah. All right. And last but not least, all right, one of our very special guests, right, from the crib. All right, went to Pace. I'm going to let him introduce himself. I got to get a little intro in there. You understand that? Mr. Rod Mack played at UM, played linebacker. Rod, what's going on, man?
What's up, Coach? How you doing?
Good, man. I'm gonna move you up here to the top, man, since you the guest of honor today, man.
What's good? How y'all fellas doing, man?
We doing
good. To you, Rod.
Good to have you, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Well, definitely, man. So before we get into this deal right here, man, let's talk a little bit about your experience as being a Miami Hurricane. Mm-hmm. Kind of that experience and stuff before we jump on these Pitt Panthers.
Yep. So for me, man, I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? Just being the Cane. I'm from the crib. Like you said, I'm a diehard Cane, man. I've been the Cane since, I'm going to take y'all back since the Partners for Youth buses was taking us to the games for free back in the early 80s. So I've been the Canes fan since then. And, just fortunate and lucky enough to have the opportunity to play for the team I love. So to me, it was all love, good, blessing.
Good, man. Good. So we're going to jump right into this, man. We talk about the program. I'm going to kind of lead this off with you, Rod. The state of the program right now. How do you feel? How do you feel about it since Manny has taken over this Manny Diaz era?
I mean, I think right now, as far as last year, it was what it was. We couldn't have high expectations. Right now, I think today is the day that's going to answer questions for everybody. Today is the day. How I really feel. I see some good things. I see recruiting starting to go in the place we wanted to. We're getting some kids that I'm glad to see them keep on, like James Williams, you know what I mean? Kids like that. And so I'm feeling good about that. Again, some commitments from some younger kids. I see them reaching out, doing some stuff. So I feel good about that. But today is going to tell me a lot about where we are as a program. You know what I mean? Over the last few years, in situations like this, after a loss, we just go in the tank, you know what I'm saying? And we lose, we roll off 3 or 4 losses or something like that. So we come out and we play hard today, then I can tell you where we at.
Definitely, man. So we're going to jump in. Let me see if I can get Balin there. Balin, talk to us. You rolling, huh? Hey, that boy got that Boost Mobile, man. We got to get him. We got to upgrade this man, dog. My man got that Boost Mobile. Balin, do me a favor. You can hear us, man. I know you're not far from the crib. He talking in circles. When you get home, man, log on and we'll get you right back in because it's too choppy. All right, so let's jump into this, man. Let's make this thing happen. So we talk about Pitt Panthers. All right, we know it's a big one. We know what happened last week when it came to Clemson, right? Playing the number one team in the nation and all of that kind of stuff. What were your thoughts on it real quick? Because I know we talked to other guys in the post game, but real quick, Rob, what were your thoughts about the Clemson game?
I mean, the Clemson game showed us a lot. It showed the big separation in talent from my standpoint. It showed me that, we got to do a better job recruiting. I feel like the better team won the game, in my opinion. I hate to say that, but you kind of see from a defensive standpoint, early in the game, I felt like we did some good things on first and second down. We got them in the third down situations, and they connected every time with no pressure. But that's what you look like when you got possibly number one pick in the draft, that quarterback. It showed me like areas I feel like we got to get better at on our team. And we got a lot of kids weren't ready for that big stage. We made some stupid mistakes. Offensively, man, I think we got to get better on the edges, man. We definitely got to.
Definitely, man. So we got to get better on the edges. We got to do those type of things. Pitt is coming down to the crib. I tell people all the time, they call it Miami Gardens. If you're over 30, it's Carroll City. If you're under 30, Carroll City.
I'm from Carroll City, man.
Yeah, I'm from Carroll City too. I'm from Carroll City all day. CC, baby. All day. All day.
So, I understand all that, but these little jitterbugs, they call it Miami Gardens. They can have that. We're going to be Carroll City for life. You understand? So it is what it is. We can't let these Pitt boys run up in Carroll City. If they get out that stadium, boy, we got to have some boys waiting on them. You know what I'm saying?
We can't lose today.
Huh? In the words of somebody, I need y'all to stand back and stand by. Huh?
There we go.
I need y'all to stand. I need those CC boys. Hey, I need y'all CC boys to stand back and stand by, man. But anyway, real quick, man. So with all that being said, we're gonna jump into this thing. So we talk about Pitt. They're coming in here. What do the Hurricanes need to do to kind of lighten this blemish that they have kind of on the record right now, V12?
Yeah, I think Rod gave a great stat, and I agree with him 100%. We need to see how the team responds to a loss. If you can remember in 2019, after we lost to FIU, we went and lost 2 in a row. We lost to Duke, and then we got blown out, lost to Louisiana Tech 14-0. So I'm interested to see how Manny Diaz and Rhett Lashley and also De'Aaron King responds to adversity. We cannot lose 2 and 3 games in a row because that's the old Canes. If we want to move forward in the program, we're saying that we're back. Yeah, we took a hit from Clemson. That's the number one team in the country. It was expected, although we didn't want it to happen. We saw, like Rod said, we saw the difference in talent and in the programs right there. But in order for us not to get back in that same old rigmarole and saying, oh, here we go again, we have to bounce back from this loss. That's imperative.
Definitely, man. E, talk to me.
Yeah, I'm looking to see right off the bat how we start out the game, punching them in the mouth, coming out with a house of fire, trying to get that bad taste out of our mouths and showing the growth from one week to the other. We talked about in shows past that we see that continual growth, obviously from the coaching staff and then coming down into the players. So how they start this game today, to me, is going to set the tone for the whole game. And hopefully that, we're very much in a hurry to get that taste out of our mouth and put a whooping on these boys.
Definitely. Rod Mack, talk to us, man.
I agree. Like I said, I just want to see us come out and from the first possession. We'll see early, man. We come out 3 and outs, get them off the field defensively, get an offense the ball, and we'll know right where we at. But it's important that we win today. Today is a big game. It's bigger than last week, in my opinion. It's a big game.
Got you. And the same thing for me, right? So here's the deal. We got to come out all cylinders pumping, man. We got to make sure that we've cleaned up whatever it was. And the biggest thing we got to definitely clean up is penalties, man. I mean, we went from game 1 to 2. I want to call them. I think we had one bonehead where he kicked the dude, and the second one he kind of drawn off sides. I can accept that. To just over 100 yards and just penalties, man. You know what I mean? Basically, for every 100 yards of stats, typically you give up a touchdown, right? So for every 100 yards in rushing is a touchdown. Every 100 yards in passing is a touchdown. That's just kind of how it breaks down. Well, guess what? If you give up 100 yards in penalties, you're giving up another touchdown. That's just kind of how it looks, man. So I don't know what went from good to crap in a 4-game span. I have no idea why it went from excellent coming out the gate. You would think it would be in reverse, coming in with a brand new system. You think you have illegal motions or illegal formations or whatever the case may be, maybe substitutions because guys may not sure what package they're on. But we went from great to, oh, damn, when it came to penalties in that sense. Do you guys think penalties are going to be something that's huge this game?
Yeah, I think penalties. Sorry about that. I think penalties is going to be it's definitely huge because think about this. Like you explained, last week we had over 15 penalties for over 100, and I believe 30 yards. That's a huge problem. And here's my thing about penalties. Back in the day, we had penalties, right? But we had the teams to overcome the penalties. Right now, we're not there yet, and we're playing as though we were undefeated, and so we had a lot of penalties that we kind of overcame in the first 3 games. But like some of the commentators said, when you're playing a team like Clemson, they're going to make you pay for those penalties. And like you said, Coach, over 100 yards, that's 7 points, and Clemson put up over 40 points on us. So for me, if you're going to have the penalties, we have the firepower to overcome the penalty. We do not have that right now, and Manny Diaz needs to settle the kids down, settle the young men down, because again, less penalties will bode better for us in the long run.
Gotcha. Rod?
I agree, man. I think it's understanding who we are as a team, and teams of the past could overcome those penalties. We don't have that type of team. We got thrown in that spotlight because we was undefeated, and sometimes as 18-year-old, 19-year-old kids, we got game day. We've been prime time 2-3 weeks in a row. And so now you start to believe that you are who you are not. So like we can act a certain way, but we can't win like that. Just from my experience when I was in college, we always had trouble with Virginia Tech. And honestly, every time before the game, we'll look at them. We knew we had the better talent on the field, but Virginia Tech would have no penalties, no mistakes. That's the way we have to look at ourselves. We got to understand that we're not there yet and be realistic. We have to win with great special teams and great discipline. We cannot have turnovers. We cannot make mistakes. We can't have those penalties. We can control that, especially playing against a team like Clemson.
Gotcha. E.
Yeah. And again, that's where I want to see the growth from these coaches, because that's something you have to address and make a point of throughout the week. Either we're making them run extra or some type of discipline off, between the games has to be taking place so that we see that continually come down when it comes to these penalties. Because like you all said, you're all exactly right. We don't have the margin of error talent-wise to continue to do that.
Right,
Coach, can I, Rod, take us into, you played at the U, and that's a great experience and great exposure. Take us into the mind of a player, especially a player like Amari Carter, who is a leader, and he keeps committing these penalties that really put us in a bad situation. Can you speak to that for us?
Yeah, I think that it's unfortunate. That's who he is. It's a bonehead penalty now. But I think the kid probably grew up playing football that way his whole life, and it was looked at as an attribute at one point. You wanted a hard-hitting safety that can be back there in the secondary and intimidate. You can't play football like that anymore. And I hope at some point, I don't know, I know he's not being coached that way, but sometimes I think, and I haven't talked to any of the coaches, but I know sometimes you get taught to finish through the play instead of pulling up. And sometimes he needs to learn to, be an athlete and not play that way. So he's a leader. He got to understand that we need him on the field. And maybe sometimes to sit his ass down so he figure out not to play that way.
Exactly, man. I tell people all the time, man, when it comes to this game, we training pit bulls to be poodles, and that's tough, man. It's tough because, and I ain't gonna go on my rant. Y'all know how I feel about some of these targeting. I understand the defenseless guy with his head. I get all that, and I'm not gonna go because I can go on that for a quick straight hour. But sometimes there's no leeway. Like last week, my man was aiming at his belt buckle. Y'all want to call targeting, But then I always bring this picture up. When Auburn, I think his name was Shivers, ran over my man from Alabama, straight speared him in the chin. Alabama defender, helmet flew off. And the commentators, oh, he trucked him. Great play. Woo-de-woo-de-woo-de-woo. But then on the flip side, bonehead play. And again, I understand the game is shifting to more points. They wanted to look like arena. Everything got to have 40-something points a game because that's what sells, right? A 7-3 game sucks, in the eyes of a fan. But I'm going to get off my soapbox about that. So anyway, let's talk real quick offensively. And I'm going to just start this off, and I'll just simply say what I think we still need to do offensively. All right, I'm going to leave them receivers alone today. I'm going to leave them alone. Our offensive line has to be more aggressive. I said this in previous shows when we were undefeated, that we do a great job in position blocking, but we don't impose our will from an offensive line standpoint. I remember UM used to have cats when Brian McKinney and all them cats used to drag cats, and they used to have grass stains on the back of their jersey. You understand what I'm saying? Now we got dudes position blocking, scooting your butt in the hole, hoping Cam can pop one loose. We used to double team. You used to dread a double team. Now it's like, oh, I'm getting double team. No big deal. I want to see our offensive line get down and dirty, gritty, and all that kind of stuff. That's my point of view. What from a position standpoint, where do you want to see these guys really step up, E?
Well, we've had some issues with some drops in some earlier games, so we need to see the receivers step up because I think, De'Aaron King probably hasn't even started to get to his ceiling yet. So I think that's one of the areas that we need to see some improvement with that because, throw out some of the other games, but, we've had some high-scoring games, but definitely want to see what we can do points-wise against Pitt today. And I think that starts with the receivers. I think De'Aaron King has been consistent and steady and is going to continue to do so, but he can continue to elevate his game if the receivers step up as well.
Got you, V12.
I'm going with De'Aaron King as well. I think De'Aaron King last week, he showed the chink in his armor a little bit. I think he's still a phenomenal player. I think him being able to get those jitters out the way, he threw the 2 interceptions. Let's leave it there. Before that, he was stellar without throwing the pick. So let's see how his leadership moves us forward. I think you mentioned it, Coach, last week. Some of his balls were flat. He had some wide open receivers that he underthrew. Mallory on the sideline at 6'6" against a 5'10" corner. That shouldn't have been a pick. So I think he needs to trust his receivers more, albeit it's going to be hard because they're not really showing him much. But I think he kind of holds back because the receiver play isn't there. But he has to let those balls fly, and I believe he'll do it today in prime fashion.
Rod, talk to us, man. What you think, man? Since you've been watching this program.
So, can I not talk about the receivers? Let me know what we're doing. We talk about the receivers.
Oh, you can.
The reason I said that because I always been talking about the receivers for the past.
We do, yeah, we do.
Okay.
And so my thing was, I made my point about that in a sense in the past 4 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm getting on to something else.
Okay, 2 things that I think. I think that playing against Pitt, I think Pitt is going to play us as in the cover 4 type scheme, and so it's going to the key to winning is going to be the quarterback. And I think it's going to be more with his mobility and moving around a little bit. I think that's extending plays. I think that's going to help us offensively. But I think it's the receivers. They have to make plays, bro. Like we got it. Because if I'm from a defensive standpoint, I'm going to load the box, take those tight ends out, and make the receivers beat. Period. So that's what happened last week, and that's what we're going to get. Until we show we can beat it, we're going to see that from this point going forward.
All right, we're going to try my man Balin one more time with his Boost Mobile, man. We got to put some on his books for him, man. Balin, talk to us, man. This man, hey, you're a Kane fan. You driving, watching. I don't know if I want to be a part of this situation.
Look, man, I had to be on the show because I just love where we're headed here in your conversation. And I'm like, you know what? I finally got out of Davenport. So that's where I was doing my quarterback training this morning. But, man, look, I don't know if you guys got word, but Kenny Pickett hurt his ankle in practice this week. He will not be playing quarterback for Pittsburgh.
Right.
So
what I'm asking is right now, which is perfect. We're going to talk about that from the defensive side. But here's my question to you. What does the offense need to do? What position group needs to step up today in order for us to solidify a win?
Our passing game, 100%. Our passing game needs to get better. Clearly, last week we were shell-shocked. We didn't know how to compete with guys that matched our level of competition or talent, or even better, in my opinion. And we just didn't look like we had our identity that we had the first 3 games of the season, where we're lighting it up in the air. D'Eriq King needs to show that he can throw the deep ball consistently and accurately. I think our running backs have pretty much proven themselves up to this point, I would say. They didn't really show much against Clemson, who I think has probably the best defense in the country, in my opinion, even though they're young. They definitely showed out last week. But I feel like our air attack needs to go back to what we saw, especially against like Florida State, and what we saw in the week before against Louisville, which now they're really starting to show their true colors. How good are we really? I think Rod Mack said it really well in the beginning. Is said this game will really show where we stand, because as of late, we saw Louisville isn't as good as advertised. Florida State's probably the worst team in the ACC, and UAB is a team that shouldn't even be in a conversation with Miami. So this game today, regardless if their quarterback is playing or not, Pittsburgh's really good on defense. Returned a lot of players on defense. That was a game that went last week. So I think our offense needs to show that they can pass.
Right. All right. So here we go, man. We put a lot of questions on, and I'm gonna mute you out there, Bailey, because of road noise. So here's the thing, right? So what happens is we put a lot of pressure on the players. I'm gonna tell you who I give the biggest because we grade them out. I say I'm gonna give an F to. It's talking about Rhett Lashley, okay? And I'm gonna say from last week's game, he did not do, or even I feel personally, from a coaching standpoint, I think he abandoned the game plan, or what the game plan had been building up for those weeks coming to that Clemson game, right? We taking numerous multiple shots down the field. We taking we just abandoned the running game. We just abandoned everything, and I think he fell into a panic mode. He's going to have to today show, right, that this is the game plan. He's going to stick with it. And also, I think something he needs to do, because D'Eriq King is not a 6'5" guy or a 6'2" guy, in order to help the young man in D'Eriq King, we got to get him out the pocket with some rollouts. We got to get him out the pocket, because now, as we all know, especially with his foot talent, if the throw is not there, he still can make a 1, 2, or 30-yard gain out of a play if the pass is not there. We got to be able to move the pocket. I don't think offensive line-wise, we're good enough to sit in the pocket and just hold those guys. You understand what I mean? A solidified defensive line. So we got to do things in order to help the young man. We got to do things to get him out the pocket. Real quick before we jump into the defense, what do you think, and I'm going to go to Balen right quick because he got good signal. What do you think from a coordinator standpoint needs to happen?
He needs to open it up. I mean, at this point, we've already played Clemson, so all bets are on the table. So there's nothing like we're doing inside zone, we're running 3 plays. I don't know if you guys got the same feel, but it felt like Miami did the same 4 plays like they did against UAB. It just was very vanilla against Clemson. So I just think that we need to open the playbook.
Gotcha, man. Appreciate it. Rod Mack, talk to us, man. What do you think from a coordinator standpoint? How do you feel Rhett Lashley, because you weren't on the show last week, did last week, and what does he need to do this week to get back in good graces with Kane?
I think last week, man, I'm a defensive guy. Let me say that. So just watching how they played us, I think Clemson played us in cover 0. They played some cover 0. They came up, stacked the box, tried to take away the quarterback run. And so we got to win on the outside. Now, however you coordinate, whatever you drop, but we got to win on the outside. The receivers have to win, and obviously the coach has to find ways to put them in position to win. That's his job. But we have to be able to win an individual battle on the outside. We didn't do that last week, and I think that kind of threw him off of what he wanted to do totally. There's only so much you can do against that. This week, I agree with you. We got to get the quarterback moving around. We got to open up the offense, and we have to take more shots down the field. And then we just got to go down firing, because that's what we have to do now. People gonna stack the box against us till we show that we can complete those passes.
Gotcha. V12.
Absolutely, I agree with all you fellas. my thing is this. I often say this on the show. From a coordinator perspective, offensive coordinator perspective, sometimes you have to look at the defense and say to yourself, what are they doing to us on offense that's getting them points and yards? And so, for example, Clemson, like Rod said, outside swing passes, they're getting to the edge. Clemson stacked the box on us pretty much every down, bringing the linebacker up, bringing the safety up. So we have to get to the edge, whether it's going to be De'Aaron King moving around or some swing passes. Rhett Lashley is going to have to earn his money again and get creative with these schemes because, as we know, college football, the scoring in college football is at an all-time high. Most teams are scoring over 30 points a game, and we need to remain in that category. So from my perspective, try to match fire with fire. If they're doing swing passes and it's working for them, we need to try. If they're doing slants that's working for them, we need to try. We need to try to match what the intensity of the defense.
Definitely. E.
Yeah. It sounds like we kind of falling into the old habits with, the lack of creativity in the offense. Everybody's going to have holes in their game, and it's up to the coordinators and the coaches to figure out how to hide those and then, maybe throw a few tricks at the opposition, So we got to see that. We got to see more of that. And, last week, it kind of felt like, just from the eye test, that they felt like maybe they was a little outclassed. But against a team like Pitt, now's the time to really, let it hang out and just go out there and be creative, have a few wrinkles in there, and just put up some points.
All right, definitely. We're going to jump into the defensive side. I am going to open up the phone lines. Yeah, go for it.
I got one more statement. The one thing that I like about the offensive coordinator now, Lashley, is the fact that he had ownership in what happened against Clemson. A lot of times last year, if you guys go back to watching, because I love watching post-game interviews with coaches, and if you listen to Dan Enos and how he was talking about the offense and why they aren't productive is because of quarterback play. Oh, we got to figure out who our identity is through our quarterback. We got to figure out, who can deliver the ball in crunch time. We didn't know who's our quarterback. This year with Rhett Lashley and what happened last week, he completely took full responsibility of a loss. So he literally said it straight, I coached terrible. I got out-coached. And that's something that when you start taking ownership, you can move forward and actually do something. So I think that today's going to show that. And I just love the fact that coaches take ownership of what happened and stop putting it so much on a position or a player.
Got you, man. I appreciate it. And it is a valid point. A lot of guys from a coaching standpoint, they like to pass the buck because, you don't want to seem like that guy. You want to make your stuff seem like it's always perfect, always great, and the guys didn't execute. So very valid point right there, man. Real quick, we're going to open up phone lines here. We got it down here at the bottom. Open up phone lines. You're more than welcome to call in. Only got one request. Just don't curse. We are a family show. All right. So with all that being said, man, phone lines are open. You're more than welcome to call in, and we'll definitely take your call and make it happen. So real quick, before we get into the defense, let me see here. Here we go. Coach Brooks, what's up? What's up, man? La Familia. That's my man. Yo quiero es, man.
Hey. Coach Brooks.
Yeah, man. I totally agree with that entire
100% correct.
But I totally think the wide receiver position is a little weak this year. I've said that so much, Coach Brooks, that I decided to go on and pick on the offensive line today. So that's why I said I ain't going to touch the receivers. I left that alone. But now let's get into defense. I think this will real. Well, I got some backup today and Rod Mack, man, because I know V12, he's out there catching balls, bailing out there throwing them. You know what I mean? He like the offense. They like to score. So now I got some backup today, Rod. I appreciate you coming, man.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
glad
you so
to
much.
be here.
Let's talk defense, man. What do the Canes have to do today in order to make it happen?
Defensively, I think we got to.
Go ahead, Rod. You got it.
Oh, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. I can hear you now. I think defensively, what we have to do, we got to get back to flying around the ball. We have to play better. Definitely at the linebacker position. I think we can play a little bit better, make some more plays, some explosive plays at that position, man. The biggest part, we got to get back getting pressure on the quarterback. We didn't get really any pressure. I mean, the guy is who he is. He was very decisive what he wanted to do with the ball. But we got to, especially with a backup quarterback, that find out they start. We have to tear around some today.
I got you. Real quick, man. We got a caller calling in. Caller, talk to us. Give us your name, Hopefully you from the crib, or if not, let us know where you're from. Hold on, Duhart. Let me get you back on. Hold on. I'm sorry, we had a thing out. Rod, real quick, while I get him back on, talk to about linebacker play. You was talking about that. Let me bring him back on.
I just think we could play better at the linebacker, man. I don't feel like we made we haven't been making enough explosive plays at that position, in my opinion, just from the linebacker play. I think we could play better at that position. I know Jennings, he's a hard hitter. He's making some punishing tackles inside the box. And I like that. He's really a South Florida kid. He played like he hitting hard out there. But I feel like we need to get some more sideline play at the linebacker position. We didn't get enough of that.
Got you, man. So, and you're 100% right. Let me get this caller back on. Caller, talk to us.
It's Duhart from Arkansas. Good morning to all the Kane family. But Rod hit it on the head, and Balin had a great point. They got to take ownership in this week. And then I liked it. Rhett Lashley stepped up and said, that he got out-coached. But we also got to remember, I think the pandemic hurt the team also because we didn't get to go through spring, and a lot of them young receivers and linebackers, I think they would have pushed them upperclassmen on the team. And I think if we would have been able to go through spring and get more practice and reps in, I believe some of them younger players would actually be playing more right now. Now since it's the fourth game, they starting to see what we do have or whatever. So we just, got to work through that. But one thing I do like last week, they did not quit, even though we did get whooped. They did not quit, and we got to control the line of scrimmage. I agree with you on the offensive defensive line. We got to control the line of scrimmage. We got a tough quarterback. Anytime you got a tough quarterback on the team, you got a tough team. So the offensive line and defensive line, they have to step up. And then also, Greg Russo, that hurt us big time by not having him. That hurt us when he decided to opt out. That hurt the team.
Definitely, man. Well, Duhart, thank you, man. I know you're a long-time supporter. I appreciate you, man, for tuning in. And guess what? Go Canes.
Go Canes.
All right, man. So he made a valid point. He made a valid point about it. We talking about defense. We talking about those things. We talked about it a little bit before we started, Rod. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw it out there. I know you're smiling.
Go ahead.
All right, real quick, man. I was talking about Jalen Phillips, and my concern was with all of the hype around this young man, okay, and all the things that he's done. Has Jalen Phillips, because we talked about McLeod last week, all right? Has Jalen Phillips lived up to his hype and what he's supposed to be? I'm going to start it off because I know the caller's going to call in and probably bust my head. I'm saying no, okay? And the reason I say no, as I simply looked at his stats. Okay, Jalen Phillips had, against Clemson, had one tackle, which was the sack. That is correct. Against he's only got 9 total tackles, 5 solo tackles. At a defensive end, here's my biggest point why I say this. At the defensive end position, that's been getting hurt. We always said our weakness of our defensive end in the run game is off tackle, off the edges. So my question is, if they're running to you and you're not making those plays, and I understand blocking scheme and all, I get it, but you got to impose your will. But here's the difference. And I see you, Rod. I see you. But here's the difference. You look at my man, oh, Lord, don't forgive me, the D tackle, Severa.
Yeah.
This dude balling out. You ain't running the ball up the middle. You understand what I'm saying? And when they run at him, it ain't happening. So, Rod, because you're the guest, you're a defensive guy, linebacker extraordinaire, I'm going to let you go ahead and bust my head right quick.
So I'm glad when you told me, say, Coach, it's kind of like the barbershop. We could talk a little bit here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to tell you out your damn mind then. And the reason, with all due respect, this is what I think. I think what I see out of Phillips is I see a kid that has brought an attitude to the defense. I see a difference in our attitude up front defensively. With him, Severa as well. Not to say it's all him. Him, Severa brought a different attitude up front. When you look at the Clemson game, he had a sack. So and that's why he on the field. They ran the ball, but it wasn't that they didn't run tosses and sweeps on us. they ran power down up inside of us and got up inside of us, and it should have been played by the linebackers, I believe. I think that with him, I think that they pushed the defense in a way between Phillips, Severa, and Bolden at the safety. Those guys are the heart and soul of our defense, in my opinion. Without him on the field, giving us that attitude, I think we will be struggling.
So real quick, I'm gonna let everybody else answer.
Yep.
So what you're saying is actually in contrast to what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's not a guy that picks up the defense. Yeah. I'm talking about stat production. All right. So I'm not saying he doesn't make everybody around him better. Yeah. I'm talking about from the guy that's supposed to be the man. When you got one, and I know you kicked out before that.
Okay, so let's go there, right? So we said, and I think Rousseau is a hell of a football player, right? We saying that. Mm-hmm. But we also have to remember that Rousseau had games where it was just like this last year. And then he had games where he had 5-6 sacks in the game that kind of did that. So if we saying that he is such a big part, Phillips is not playing any at a lower level than we saw last year out of that position. Not at all.
I can take that. V12, talk to us.
I agree with Rod. I think that for me, my expectations were pretty low of Jalen because here you have a guy twice hurt, and for him to come back, he makes a great impact on the team. Along with attitude, he disrupts the offense, and that's something you're not going to see on the stat sheet. So for me, I believe that they have to pay attention to him. Sometimes he's being doubled. And as we say, it's not all about scoring. It's not all about stats all the time. That's what makes LeBron James a great player. He's not scoring all the time. He makes an impact on the game, doing other things. And so with Jalen, although his stats are not up there, he's definitely a disruptor. And guess what? They go to the other side oftentimes and find success. So for me, my expectations were low. I think he's beyond expectations at this particular point in time because that guy came back from devastating injuries to be on that field and to produce and to make an impact on the team from an attitude standpoint. I think he's been phenomenal.
Got you. Balin, I'm going to hit you in right quick, man. You got a good signal going. Got 4 balls.
Look, man, I'm going to tell you, you guys hit it on the head. I hate being a dead horse, but Coach Hayes, this is the one time I can honestly say you're wrong.
Nah.
I'm telling you, that the Phillips kid is the real deal. We'll be lucky if he comes back next year. And like the other guys have mentioned, the role players are just as significant as your star players. And I believe he's both. So when you talk about double teaming, you're creating opportunities for Sevilla, or whatever his name is, to make tackles. And then you also open it up for the linebackers who are doing absolutely nothing for us this year. So I think Phillips has done a phenomenal job. He's lived up to the expectations. He just came from an ACL injury. He was the number one, recruit in his class at that position. I feel like he stepped in just as well. He's creating a lot of havoc. He has an interception. That's one thing none of our linebackers have, to my understanding, at this point. He's a freak. Again, I feel like he's a great addition to our program, and his stats might not show that, but it's because he's taking on double teams every single play, or they're running the opposite direction. So I feel like he's doing a great job being a role player and helping other players put in position to be successful. And again, like we all mentioned, and we can all agree, our linebacker play is suspect and probably the worst unit on our team. When year in, year out, it's our best. So it's just showing you, like, hey, this kid is actually doing really well for us. So,
oh man, it's all great, baby. This is what it is, man. E, talk to me, man.
Hey, well, look like you got outvoted, Coach. My role on this team, you guys do the great X's and O breakdowns and stuff. I'm just going by the eye test. You know what I'm saying? And, he hasn't stood out as maybe like the household name, but, because he's not making the big hits and getting the turnover chains and all that stuff. So as a fan, I'm now want to put my eyes more on him just to see more what you guys are talking about. But, just looking at as a team, man, outside Clemson, looks like the defense has been, kind of up and down, kind of inconsistent. So you guys are putting a good spotlight on the guy, and I'm going to pay a little more attention to him. It looked like you got outvoted, Coach. So
I did, but I'm going to say something, and I don't have no problem with that. Again, my biggest thing is, here's my deal, right? And I understand all of that of being an impact player without the stat sheet. I get it. I totally understand that, right? But here's what I'm saying. When you bring that type of thing, as last week, Balin brought up McLeod, right? and all those type of things. But here's my deal, and I'm just simply looking at something. I know stats can, and I get that, but I'm just talking about that type of guy. UAB, he only had 2 assisted tackles, right? And they ran the heck out the ball, right? And they didn't. If he was that good, then this is what it transpired to. If he was that much impactful where they ran away from him, then I blame Blake Baker for not, guess what, sending the teeth of defense away from him. If he's that impactful. Louisville, 2 tackles. Florida State, 2 tackles. I'm sorry, 2 tackles, 1 assist. Louisville, 2 tackles, 1 assist. Florida State. No sacks. First sack was Clemson. I get it. And I'm not saying the guy got to have 35 sacks. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying he didn't impact the game. Hold on, hear me out, Baylor. Hear me out. What I'm saying is that for a guy of this caliber, and I understand the ACL, we're talking about Baylor. You always say UAB shouldn't even be in the conversation. Hell, that's a stat game then, bro. Right? Florida State was so doggone trash.
Hey, he did good Florida State, though. He wore that chain.
Yeah, because he got the pick.
Okay,
no, but he got the pick.
That's a stat, coach.
No, I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it. Listen, I'm not knocking it. What I'm just trying to say is, if I see Blackman back there, I'm trying to put him on his back. And I'm going to leave it at that.
I just want to ask you one question. Let me ask you one question. Okay.
Go for it.
So can we agree that the guy who played that position last year played so well that he possibly could be a top 5 pick in the draft, right?
Russo, okay.
We can agree on that.
Correct.
Now, show me where the guy that played that position last year played it that much better than the kid that's playing it this year.
Well, here's the difference. It's not the guy that played. I'm looking at the teams he's playing. That's the difference, right? I'm not asking about Louisville. I mean, the Clemson game, I'm cool with that. But UAB,
all I'm saying is,
no, hear me out. I'm with you 1,000%, Rod. All I'm just trying to say is, you know what time. Listen, when you was at Pace and y'all played Gulliver, y'all played Ransom Everglade. Hold on. No. When I'm just saying, when y'all play Ransom Everglade, Coach, blitz me. It's Sac City. I need this, Coach. Balin. Hold on, Balin. Guess what? When y'all playing Cypress Creek and they got poor little Timmy out there corner, Coach, send me downfield. I need these stats.
100% correct.
All right, so with that being said, we run out of time. I love you guys, but I got something I got to go with. Not because it's for real. We got to go with something real quick. We got a big one up in here, guys. Y'all ready? You know how I get down. Catfish Gene 11, $4.99. I'm loving you, baby. I appreciate you. You know what time. I'm talking about Catfish Gene with the $4.99, man. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you so much. He says we have to be better at the LBs and wide receiver position. If the seniors ain't cutting it, put in the youngins. And listen, I agree with you on that to a certain extent, but unfortunately, guess what? Manny Diaz lose a couple more games, he might be on that hot block. So he got to go with what it is. It's a political game at that point. Like you said, losing last year to a FIU, losing to a La Tech, those type of things. You can't take any more of these underdog losses, I guess is the right way to say it, man. So guess what, Catfish Gene, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. I really do. Again, let me get into this part, man. We got about 11 minutes till kickoff. All right. Lastly, when we're talking about defensive backs, do we think that defense, do you think our defensive backs still can be tested? And I know that the quarterback is out from Pittsburgh right now. Rod, sent you to guess. What do you think from our DBs? Have they shown enough to say who they are right now? DBs? To
me, I know who our DBs are. I do, and I do. You want me to tell you real quick?
Go for it, babe. Okay, yeah, go for it.
This is who our DBs are. I think we got I think Bolden at safety is a great safety. I think he's one of the top handful of safeties in the country. At the other safety spot, we've been inconsistent because of we can't tackle without getting a penalty. We just rotate between the two guys. Both of them get kicked out of half every game. So at the position. At corner with Blaze, he is a great football player. And I think football-wise, sometimes, he may not be the fastest, maybe no jump high, but he's a football. That's what we're going to get out of him. He's going to make plays, a smart kid. Good job. The other kid, Ivy, I think he got a lot of people talked a lot about him early on because of the first game, but since then I think he's been consistent. I think he plays better against a big receiver he can get on and be physical with. You just got to put him in the right position to use his skill. Out of all the DBs, he's probably the athletically best guy in the defensive back that we put on the field. You just got to use him properly. That's our DBs.
I agree with it. V12, talk to us.
DBs, I think they played okay in the Clemson game. I think they've gotten better over the past few games. I don't think I know them that well yet. They're definitely talented. I agree with Rod. I think Bowden is definitely a great safety. He'll be a top NFL prospect. And overall, if Carter can hit hard, if he can get his act together, I think we'll be okay. If I could shift a little bit to the defense, one thing that I forgot to mention, and I think Rod touched on it, we need to be able to get off the field on third downs. If we can't get off the field on third down, it's going to be an issue for the defense. Although Pitt may be without their starting quarterback, Pitt has traditionally given us trouble over the past few years. So this is not a gimme game by far, even though the quarterback is out. And last but not least, we have to clamp down on the yards that we allow per game. The defense is allowing 420-yard average per game. That is unacceptable. So that's a team game. It's a team defense. So we got to make sure that from a defensive perspective, as a team, we clamp down.
Yeah. Yeah,
Balin.
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead, E.
Okay, well, yeah, V12, you brought up a point that was in my mind that I'm worried about. Just because the starting QB is out doesn't necessarily mean the backup QB is sorry. And, they probably haven't been scouting him or don't know what his strengths and weaknesses are. And that's someplace where we could get caught slipping. So I definitely agree with, you and Rod's other points. But that is something that was in my mind, too. It's like, okay, you're kind of flying in blind there with, you don't know how he's going to play. You don't know what his package is. So I hope our DBs are able to adjust on the fly as well as the rest of the defense and adjust on the fly and pick up on where they need to attack this quarterback.
Balin?
I'm going to be straight up. Our DBs are suspect, and our linebackers are terrible. And here's the problem that I have with today's game. And if you guys know much about Pittsburgh, they are a true pro-style offense. And what does that mean? Matchups with the tight end. So when you have play action, our linebackers are going to have to cover. Suspect. When you have play action, sometimes you get beat on double moves. Suspect. So I feel like today is going to really, again, how my boy Rod Mack said earlier today, this is going to really indicate where we are, not just offensively, but defensively as well. But again, our linebackers are very bad. And I'm sorry, if anything, this is hurting McLeod's opportunity going to the NFL. And again, I think spring would have been a great indication of seeing some of the younger guys play. I feel like that guy last week, I forget his name, number 6, I think he's going to be special. I think he should get more rotation at the linebacker position. I think that's our weak point. I think even Kirk Herbstreit even said it this week in an article. They said if Miami got an identity at linebacker and receiver, that they would be a top 5 team in the country. But the fact that we have no establishment there and consistency at those positions, we're not going to be at that elite level just yet. So that I feel like that's where our recruiting needs to go, is the receiver and linebacker position, and which is crazy to believe because I can guarantee all 4 of you in this chat can agree that linebacker's been our most consistent play, I think, for the last decade or 2 decades. We've had a guy go in the NFL every single year. I feel like productivity-wise, they've been great. But for some reason, these 2 guys that we have now are suspect, if that. They're just out there, honestly. And so I feel like, they're gonna have to step up today. Our DBs, I think Bolden again has really showed who he is over the course of the last couple of games. I feel like he's starting to get into himself. He is who he's advertised to be. I think he'll be a great NFL draft pick one day. But the guys around him need to pick up. I mean, Blades, he's still living off his dad's name. I feel like he needs to find himself an identity and not just be a football player, but be a true cornerback. I feel like Ivy had so much hype coming in that he's just trying to play off that. I don't know. We'll find out today, but our linebacker play is going to get a lot of one-on-one matchups with tight ends today, so we'll see where they're at.
I got you, man.
Coach,
so
here's
the deal. Real quick. We're 5 minutes out.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, Rob mentioned a good point when he played. He said when he played, Virginia Tech traditionally gave them trouble in the years when he played. Well, let me tell you this. Pittsburgh has given us some trouble in the last few years as well.
Yes.
Think about it. In 2019, after Georgia Tech lost, we barely beat Pitt 16-12. That's an issue for me. And then in 2017, we lost to Pitt 24-14, and then went on a 3-game losing streak. So let's not underestimate the Pittsburgh Panthers. They play us traditionally well over the past few years, and we have to pay attention to that today. Although the quarterback is out, we cannot feel that we have this game won because the quarterback, Pickett, starting quarterback, is out for this game.
Definitely. Here we go. Hold on. We got 5 minutes left. Here we go. Get your stuff ready. I'm finna make a quick dip because my man Catfish Gene 11 said $9.99. Damn, y'all made me feel special. High tides all day. That boy went to Miami Beach. It's all about the youth. So you already know what this means, man. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Hey, Catfish Gene, I'm loving it, man. Hey, it is what
you look at
Catfish? Let's make it happen,
boy.
man. Good job. All right, here we go. Let's get this in. We less than 4 minutes till 12 o'clock. So we got to get your picks in. Rod, I'm going to do this right now.
Predictions in.
I know. Listen, because Balin been whipping us the past. Hold on. Been whipping us. So, Rod, I'm extending the invitation to you. We do a post-game show immediately after the game is over. We jump right back on. So you're more than welcome to join us. If you got something to do, I totally understand. But we're gonna go ahead because you are the guest of honor. We're gonna give you. I need your prediction for the game. Right now, the over and under. I'm sorry, the line is 13, Miami, and the over and under is 47.5. I just want you to know what's your score.
We cover the over. I'm telling you, we cover the points. So we're gonna beat by more than 13. We're gonna win the day with the run game and the quarterback moving around. I like us to win 37 to 12.
37-12. Rob, V12, talk to us.
Yeah. I like them covering as well. I think they're going to beat them more than 13, though. So I think with the high college football average of offense scoring, I'm going to put it up a little bit, Rod. I think I'm going to go in the 40.
I hope you're right, baby.
I think I'm going 40. I think we hungry. I think I'm going 45-17 Canes in the blowout win.
I'm with you.
45-17. Okay, E.
I'm gonna go just for the fun of it, man. I'm gonna go a little under. I'm gonna go Canes 37-30. We're gonna have us a little 37-30. Let's just for the hell of it.
All right. The reason I left Balin for last because you're gonna get a breakdown with the blood type.
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead, Balin.
All right, so
all right, here we go.
Rod, you've been watching the show, which hopefully the Florida State game when I called it 49-10, and it was 52-10.
Okay.
So you're gonna like my pick today because I'm pretty. And E, I don't know what you thought my pick last week. I picked against the Canes last week, and yes, unfortunately, I won. But E, come on, dude, 37-30. Okay, so here it is. Final score. Everybody, tune in. Final score will be 45-7. Canes 45-7 blowout win. Canes. I'm gonna hit it right on the money too. Watch what I tell you.
All right, so Balin got a 38-point spread. Rod got 25. V12 got 28. E got 27.
No, I said 37-30. But
I know, but a 7-point spread. I'm saying.
Okay. Y'all been dogging the defense damn the whole show.
We are talking about Pittsburgh with a backup quarterback. I'm just saying.
They're gonna score though.
That's what I'm saying.
Miami giving 420.
That quarterback is not taking a single snap.
We run out of time. That's why I said we should have started at 10:30. All right, here we go. 34. Hold on, 34. I'm going 34. I'm going 34-17. I'm going 34-17.
Somebody had to take the under.
Yeah, I'm going 34. Somebody take the under. Shoot, you got 67 points. You got one of the higher. But anyway, I'm going 34-17 right there, man. All right, so I'm saying 17-point spread. All right, here we go. So real quick, guys, before we get out of here, thank you so much. Don't forget, all right, we're doing a post game. Look at this, Dante Colon. What's up, man? 34-20 safe pick. Dana, what's up? Coach Hayes, my dog, man. I'm loving it. I got to get off on here. Real quick. Coach Brooks said, Rod Mackin with you, Canes 35-21.
All right, my brother.
All right. So here we go. Hey, real quick, man. Like I said, CoachHayesFootball.com is open. All right. I got my little merch up there. Go to the fan site. You're going to see Po Little Timmy. Click it. We got all type of stuff on there. The promo code is Canes10. All right. It's open to get that discount all the way till 12 midnight. Jump right back on here with us right after the game. Immediately after we come in.
Coach.
I appreciate it, man. We jumping right back on. Rod, are you coming back with us or not?
If we lose, Coach, I won't see you. But if we win, I lost, man. I go into a real depression.
Hey, Rod, in the face of defeat, don't call you,
Not
huh?
today.
Don't call me. No, you can't put me on TV, man. You can't do that, man. I might lose everything.
No, we should be all right.
So we'll be all right. So I see y'all after I see y'all, man. I enjoy it.
So we definitely gonna jump. Hey, we definitely gonna jump back on. Like I said, I appreciate everybody. Listen, real quick, my man Solo D, Honorable Solo D, who did the intro, all right, with the music, gave us the blessing to use their stuff, man. Please make sure you subscribe to that young brother. He's doing some phenomenal stuff for all Miami sports. He's part of Miami Sports Music. He does phenomenal raps for every song, for the game of the week, for the Heat, the Dolphins, and the Hurricanes. So with all that being said, I'm going to definitely leave you out. Thank you for the comment section. We're going to leave out with Honorable Solo D. When it's over, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And as always, it's Go Canes. Anybody got something to say?
UA all day. Old school Alex Rodriguez. Balin, you miss it. Old school Alex Rodriguez jersey. Here we go, Balin. That's Canes all day, baby. You already know. I'm up early in the morning.
Dressed in black. Got it.
D Miami Sports Music. Salute.
All right, no.
Yes. We got Finger Licking live.
40.
It's Canes over here. Turn over chain, 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 turn over chain. You seen big homie get a fumble, he get a turnover chain. Seen big homie get the pick off, he get a turnover chain, 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 turnover chain. You see the whole crowd going user, we want the turnover chain. See the whole crowd going crazy, we want that turnover chain, turnover chain. Turnover chain is deeper than jewelry, deeper than blink. It's deeper. See, this is our thing, and you as the team is strictly for Kane. Invented the swag, you rented and brag, but we want it back. Let me get that. But you can keep the old one, cause we keep something new in the bag. All of these players is hungry, don't come in here thinking it's funny. We aiming for something, rocking the chains when it's sunny. Even when raining or slumming, we ain't gonna be slumming. I hope your quarterback don't think it's sweet. The defense will make them take a seat. And if somebody strip the ball out, then somebody get a Cuban link. Now you know how I go with the fans though. We be going wild out in the stands though. If you're not with the team, you're not familiar. If you throwing U's up, you not familiar. Come on, get loose like a band, trombone. Throw 3 or 5 up, my home. CWA, tell them about it. All the Canes gone wild when we yelling this out. Turn over chain, 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 turn over chain. You seen big homie get a fumble, he get a turnover chain. Seen big homie get the pick off, he get a turnover chain, 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 turnover chain. You see the whole crowd going user, we want the turnover chain. See the whole crowd going crazy, we want that turnover chain.